voy a convertir en la niña más rica y poderosa de este país.
You know, I can't feel it. Oh, I can't feel it.
No noto nada.
Y cuando dicen Carmen, mira.
No,
Sí.
Carmen no es casa, se sabe. Él usa
Vale, si queréis ir sacando las últimas fotos.
Please, could the photographers take their last few photos?
Bueno, arratsaldeon, ta ongi etorri aurtengo Donostiako zinemaldiko prentsaurreko berrira. Gaurko prentsaurrekoan Rainbow filma izango dugu. Hola, buenas
Hi, good afternoon and welcome to everyone. We're presenting the film Rainbow, and in order to present it, we have most of the cast and crew. That is to say, we have GHISLAIN, producer, HOVIK, KEUCHKERIAN, actor, CARMEN, MACHI, actress, CARMEN, MAURA, actress, PACO, LEÓN, director, DORA, actress, BERMEJO, actor, WEKAFORÉ, actor, and finally, but not less important, SANDRA, producer. So, I wanted to start by asking a special question for Paco. Obviously, the producers can answer as well, but seeing the film, I had the feeling that we were continuously playing, balancing two contrary elements. On the one hand, a certain amount of order, the order of what we know of the Wizard of Oz, and amongst that order, the chaos of making the, obviously, the Wizard of Oz exploding into different pieces. I've read an article about the film, and it was an electropop film. It was a punk rereading of the Wizard of Oz. I was interested to know of how you wrote the script. How did you get it to achieve that tone or that narrative construction? The idea of making Rainbow starts from the need. This was written, the script was written during lockdown, in the middle of lockdown. Javier Muñoz and I, but as we were locked down, he was going to LA, we connected every day via computer. And the context was important, though I felt like exploring fantasy. And it made it more necessary, fantasy as an antidote to that harsh reality we were all living through lockdown. And we were feeling like, we felt like traveling and partying and imagining things and running away from that harsh reality. And it's also been an excuse to be able to work with people who I admire, all of these people, to start off with, and other people that you can't see in the film, but who are behind the film, behind the camera, many collaborators and artists, musicians, dancers, choreographers, plastic artists. And for me, it was a meeting of artists. The tone, I think it emerged slowly but surely. I think that the best thing I've achieved in the film is to make the whole cast enthusiastic, and especially these two ladies that I've got to my right who did everything. And they have put so much passion into and enjoyed themselves so much that I feel very proud, because I think that it's transferring that young spirit that I think that the film has. I'm talking a lot, but I'm going to explain a lot of things at the same time. And it's because I think that the young spirit of other artists, like Weka, like Dora, for example, I feel like a hinge between the generation of these two generations. I think they fit. I'm sitting here at the right place, and to attract all of that freshness and all of that almost subversive elements and anarchy and everything that needs to destroy everything. That's the graphic image of the film, which is all vandalized. And I think they portray that very well. And they, who symbolize the status, luxury, what exists already, they have confronted this very curiously. And I think that's the youngest That's what keeps you young. I think curiosity, it's like collagen in your face, which we start to lose with age, and the capacity of surprising himself, you lose it over age because you've seen many things. But and putting that collagen in your face is curiosity, I believe, is curiosity. So, and they keep very young because they're very curious, and they're vandals. And as Weka says in the film, there's been a lot of fear because this does undertake a risk. The only thing to overcome fear is curiosity, as I said in the film, and I think we've got a lot of this. And I'm going to shut up now. Well, you know you can raise your hand if you want to ask any questions. Hi, I would like to first of all congratulate the whole cast because I enjoyed the film enormously, and I would like to ask Carmen MAURA, who in this film portrays a very bad woman. Do you like being the evil woman? All of the roles that you play by evil women, have you enjoyed playing that role? And to being the villain in this film was one of the attractive element to say, yes, I think whether this film, he called me to do it because I'd worked with him in a short and I was very happy doing it. And then the role is great, isn't it? Because to be a villain is always great. It showcases, and she has no complex. She's a witch, and that's her profession. Her profession is to be a villain, so therefore she has no complex to blame. And I think she's very funny. And she wrote dialogues that were so fascinating to say. I don't know how to tell you. I like texts very much, so therefore here was complete enjoyment and delight, and then do it with her, that was an extra gift, and I'm very, very happy, the truth be said. I don't know, do Alice, you know, Carmen, the other Carmen would like to add something, explain what? Oh, where are you? I thought God was talking to me. I said, what do I say now? Thank you. Doesn't necessary, no, because we have the same word, and like Carmen's, Paco told me the story, the same as Carmen. He tells me about his project, what he's going to do, and then he's surprised when he said all of this is, when he's telling me he wants me to form part of all of this, and I was very moved because I know I love him and I admire him deeply, and plus he tells me on the journey I was going to go with Carmen MAURA. I'd never worked with Carmen MAURA ever before. I've seen her. She's my reference. I admire her. I almost drool when I see her and see her so close. And then Paul treats me so badly in the film. Well, I think I'm a very privileged person. So we were both very happy. We're very good friends now. We'd never met before. Imagine. And now we don't know what to do. And I launched this. We want to work together. So that's all I want to say. Well, if we could be friends in the next film, that would be better. That would be good, yeah. But it was a very happy journey. It was very beautiful. Well, it continues to be very marvelous, and I think we all agree. Thank you, Paco. Thank you. And as we're here with the actresses, I'd like to know what the other actors in the film have to say, because I think there's a very interesting fusion and the question of this hinge world. There's a generational portrait in the film, not only with those that are here, but for example with Ajax or Samantha Hudson, for example. There's a beautiful idea as regards this diversity and this transgenerational idea. I don't know whether a word exists, and I'm not too sure whether you three wanted to talk about what your process was, well, addressing your roles in the film. I would never imagine it for me to be a leading actress in a film. The least was, I think, when you came home, you were going to propose this to me. But I've repeated it 50 times today, and I'm going to repeat it as many times as possible because it's reality. Following you, Paco, is marvelous, because when you came to my place to tell us the same thing happens to Weka and all of us, But when he came to tell us the project at home, to my home, his eyes were shining. It was quite clear what he wanted to make, and I had no idea, without knowing nothing. And I thought he's so convinced we couldn't say no to him. And then plus it has to do with music. It has so much relation to the music, the film. Well, I think it's a pleasure to form part of a project such as this. Well, I think everyone, I think it's incredible. Well, not incredible, but I think I continue to be surprised that people want to work with me. I think people say that I'm a very nice guy. People go around telling people I'm a nice guy. I might have to believe it. Yeah, you're also a pain in the neck. But nobody knows that part. Nobody knows that side of me. It draws your, it's actually quite surprising. It draws my attention. My mother says that to me as well. Oh, what a pain. I think the same thing happened to you. Well, yes, I was, as you know, what the hell, I was well away of I was in my personal process, and all of a sudden, PACO calls me, and he said, yes, hi. They said they were going to call him because he asked my phone from a common friend. Hi, I'm PACO LEÓN. Hey, PACO. And he says, in your plans of conquering the world, could you make do 5 sessions with me? That's what PACO said to me. And I said, Jesus, man, I know how you are. I think you're retired. You're taking care of yourself. You stopped drinking. But Jesus, man, for you. And I said, well, come to my place to eat of lunch. Well, for example, Thursday. And he turned up with Begoña, the producer. And that was, tell that, PACO, what, that was very beautiful. I was telling him, well, Jesus, but it should be done by HOVIK because he's very emotional, he's very strong, and he's going to make her much more frail and smaller. It's got to be him. And everyone was saying, no, he's not going to do it. No. He says no to everyone. He says no to projects that they know with very important people, that with money and a lot of budgets. I said, well, my God, what's going to happen here? And what have I got? Well, I've got Shrek size, like Shrek's little cat size. And I went to his hometown, and as Dora says, my eyes were shining and well, obviously infusing everything of the project, making him enthusiastic. And I say, well, telling him a bit who I was and what all this was about. And all of a sudden he says, shake my hand. I said, shake my hand, I'm going to do it. No, I haven't told you anything over the character you ever know. I'm going to do it. Jesus. I'm seeing that you're genuine, and whatever you say, I'll jump into the pool. I said, wait a second. Your representative, my manager, I think, said, I'm going to do it, Jesus. And he shook my hand, and I thought, and I believed him. Because with a hand like his, I believed him. And I had to believe him. And yes, and that was it. And here he is. So he did it. And I want to thank him very much. Yes, it was. So I thank you very much. And you, and have the luxury of sharing. And then I read the script. I said, Jesus, how did that happen? This guy's crazy. And then I started to work. And daughters, these two ladies, when I came to the world of cinema, and I'm a strange agent. I don't know much about movies. Well, I've seen a few films, not very many things. I'm not a cinephile at all, but it was an honor to share a film with all of these great actors and to know and to meet that beautiful girl who, I said before, you're talking to her, when you're talking to her you're talking to a girl who's 15-year-old at 3:15 and at 3:20, she asks you a question of a woman who's 34 years old. So therefore, and it really drives you crazy because you don't even know what's going on. So it's a pleasure to work with all of these people. Thank you very much, PACO, for coming to my town and visit for lunch. Luis and WEKAFORÉ, I don't know whether you've got anything to add. I would like to add that it's true that PACO, I remember when you came to my place, I went to everyone's home.
ido a las casas.
door to door.
Por todas las casas.
And he's marvelous. I'm very, very thankful forever. Only just listening to him, I was fascinated. He gets up and says, well, okay, now, and then a lion appears, and then you do this, and then you do that. And then we went to the kitchen. I said, and he says, well, okay, talking about the death, life and death, pulses, and it was fascinating. And at the end of the day, I said, well, okay, I'm not going to give you the script, but you don't need a script. I've already told you the story. I'm very thankful, and I'd work with PACO all my life just to listen to these great descriptions of the film. I'm the only person. He didn't come by my place. I'm probably the only person. That's true. And you've invited me and telling me fried bananas and it was incredible to meeting PACO and him meeting me. He found me through music, and I was fascinated with how one can understand what I'm doing. And we were in a situation in which we're collaborating with many artists and learning. We all felt like learning as well. And learn and to see what's going to happen. And that curiosity is what and has changed my life and brought me along on the journey. We have a question over here, a question for PACO, back here next to the camera. All the contrary to your previous films, Carminas and Iquique, for example, there isn't a sort of background or a look to a real Spain, the city to which the characters, you call it capital city. It's not even Madrid, even though you shot it in Madrid. That type of setting, which is a trifle abstract, was also because the film is going to be seen on Netflix and throughout the world. Or why is it that it wasn't as local as many of your other films? Well, I thought the film, as it's a journey, a road trip, or a road trippy, as I say, it established a journey, and I think it was convenient to decontextualize it as much as possible so that it could travel better abroad. I think it's true that it had an international concept, thinking about a film not only for Spain, but a film that could be understood universally, transgenerationally, and internationally. And in fact, the journey of the film starts from a town which is more Castilian, albeit it has Moorish and Arab touches to it. And then it goes through landscapes which are quite American, because all the iconography of the House of Kansas and the Wizard of Oz and those wheat fields, I thought it was a good metaphor of the yellow brick road, and it goes through different cultural settings. It goes through the African of the voodoo, and then it goes through open until dawn with a Tex-Mex, a bingo. Mexican, and it ends up in a capital city, which is Asian, a bit more like a video game. I don't know, I thought it was, without giving details, it had to have an American flavor to it. And then it kind of put 5J ham flying through the air. I thought, well, ham is very international as well, Spanish ham. Hi, I'd like to ask you over here, Paco. I'd like to ask you, at what time do you start to put faces to these characters? Because it seemed, writing the script, it was quite clear who you wanted to portray each character. Yes, the majority were already quite clear. In fact, I wrote thinking about them, and that helps me a lot because apart from Kim and some other character, it was quite clear from the outset. Quite often, the actor inspires the character because in the case of Ajax, he inspired Muñiz very much. I'm also interested in following along the line of this idea that it's a film which is quite different to your prior filmography, and from a custom point of view, the size of it, for example, it's a large production which, from the art direction by Doya Esteban, the war, costume design, and it's all very large scale. So I'd like to ask you, how was it to address a project of this nature, this size? I'd like to know what Islam and Sandra have to say about this. Well, yes, the truth is, it was a real challenge. Sandra can explain this, who was the Wizard of Oz, the truth be said, that has managed to make it all possible, shooting with a real lion. And I said, a real lion? It's quite complicated. I said, yeah, it's got to be a real lion. And we're going to do it, and all of a sudden to manage to... if I want Michael Jackson on a manta ray, she would say, yes, what more do you want? And she made it all possible. And indisputably, in Paco's filmography, we've made several of his previous projects together. It's a larger step forward vis-a-vis complexity and size. It's not only an issue of resources, obviously it's in all different departments. Normally you focus in one. He has an enormous cast, sophisticated and with a lot of needs. He has a crew which is very large, and it's very multidisciplinary in all of the different areas. But I think at the end of the day, now that we're alone, working with you, the background and the basic thing is what all of you said, is the way his eyes shine, because it turns, and I'm talking about, I'm the Wizard of Oz with 200 or 250 people behind me. But it ends up turning into your dream, everyone's dream, that is to say, shooting with a real lion. That's learning, it's a stimulation, it's the shining eyes, it's motivation, it's all of this that makes you want to do something, learn to do something different. It's very difficult to do something different, and so stimulating and wanting to do this. And everything in the list when you go up, lion, Michael Jackson, the dog again, okay, the dog, and this, and that's the list that but through your look, it turns up, oh, I want a lion. We want the lion. Okay, let's find a lion. Let's look for the dog, and let's do it. It's ours. We've got it. So therefore, Remo. And I get very exciting. It turns out into a very collective experience that literally is the film of everyone that have made it, and we've all. It's our own journey, and we've all contributed everything. Ilan finishes this. The process was different. We went to Paco's house, or, well, at least Sandra's offices, which is very similar, and he told us the story in real time. It was a 90-minute pitch. The script wasn't even written, and he tells it to us with so much passion, so much enjoyment, which are the two words that you've used before. And we felt every time we collaborate with Paco, because it's not the first time, and everything turns out very organically. I'm talking on behalf of Netflix, who came on board, and it's an association or partnership which is very, very special. Well, that's great, isn't it? Well, as I was saying before, the poster of the film says it's not a film, it's a journey. And like any journey, it has to start, and the crew has to, and the cast has to leave to get prepared for the Velodrome premiere this evening. A big round of applause, please, and we'll finish here. Thank you very much.